Hello and welcome back to That Writer Guy podcast. I am your host, Lyman Raitt, and today we are going to start an 8-part series all about world building. Now, world building is something that every good writer does when they create a story, especially those who write fantasy and science fiction. World building can make or break a story, and in this 8-episode series, I will be discussing and elaborating on many different aspects of world building. Here's a breakdown of what each episode will involve. This episode will explain what world building is, how it works, why it works, what should be considered, and types of worlds. The next episode and part 2 will dive deeper as I will be discussing the geography of a world and why this is important. Part 3 will discuss animals, creatures, beasts, and how you can be creative with them. Part 4, I will be discussing the people and how they can be elemental in your world. Part 5 will be fun as I discuss agriculture, commercial, industrial, and where they have a role in your world that you're creating. Part 6 is all about money, while Part 7 will touch base on the legal and the government sections. Part 7 is also there to show you how everything will work together. And the final part, which is Part 8, is going to show some great books with great world building. Now back to what this episode is all about, and that is the world building in general. World building is exactly how it sounds in regards to what it is. It is simply building a world that your characters will live their entire duration of your story in. That's it. That's what world building is. But even though that is what it is, there is so much more to world building that it must be uncovered and discovered, which is where you as the writer are vital. When starting on world building, the factors you need to consider are the following: what type of setting, what type of world you want to create, how you want your characters to see it, and why. I'm going to begin with the basics there. Type of setting. The type of setting you are looking for will determine how your world will feel and be. If you're wanting to go with something historical, then a bit of research into the time period you want will be essential. For example, many fantasy stories are set in the medieval times. With that comes a lot of research regarding customs, architecture, even languages, and there are many things that come from this. Now, I want to say that sure, you can create your own world however you want to, but you will find that many things you are using are already there. And when you write it and someone reads it, they're going to envision something that you might have never thought of. I did a lot of research when I started writing fantasy and wanted to make sure that everything and anything that I could use would be accurate to the best I could. I'm just super picky that way. But I also found that by doing this, I learned an amazing amount about the medieval time period, which allowed me to keep writing without massive numbers of stoppage. I say this because it worked for me, but it might not for you. You will have to decide what scope you want to learn about what time period you're going to write in that you want your world and characters to be in. The next is the type of world. I'm a pantser. And when it comes to, I'm a pantser by natural, so I just write by the seat of my pants. But when it comes to world building, I am a planner. I want my world to have everything that it would have, but still leave enough room to make it truly unique and fun. If your world involves, say, a medieval feel, but with weapons such as firearms, then you have to also consider planes, automobiles, trains, or other things, and you have to find a way to make them all work together to allow the reader to believe they were meant to be there. Fantasy writing and even science fiction are hard to write, but easy at the same time because it's all in the imagination of you, who is the writer. Create a world that you can not only see, but you can then see your characters being fine in. Yes, that might sound really strange to say, but if you create a world that's impossible to live in, then why would your characters live there? Sure, you are the writer and you can make them live there, but it might be harder for you to write them in. Or not. I don't know, because I'm not you. Your world is your creation, and if you can make it something amazing for your readers to feel and believe and visually see through their own imagination, then you have accomplished the goal every other author wishes. From here, we'll go into how your characters will see it. Yes, they can be considered crazy talk, but let's face it. If we're an author and we write stories, we are talking to our characters in some form, right? That technically makes us all a bit crazy, some of us more than others. Your characters will thank you for creating a world they can live in, work in, breathe in, interact in, and that can make it easy for you as the writer to write. What I mean by this is this. Unless your entire plan for your book is to have someone who is a samurai warrior find themselves in a tropical paradise or a place where there's nothing but medieval castles, peoples, knight in shining armor, and the like, then the characters need to fit the world and the world needs to fit them. When I am working on a world, I break it down into many different sections, and that's what I'm going to be going over with you over the next few episodes. The reason I break things down is to make it easy for me to digest, expand, understand, and also figure out all the details. It's amazing how many details can be found or lost with good or bad planning and world building. Your world is your baby, so to speak. What happens with it, in it, through it, around it, above it, below it, and anything else is all on you. How you create it will dictate how well it's liked. Look at the world building in Lord of the Rings, Wheel of Time, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, to name just a few off the top of my head. And yes, I know Wheel of Time isn't a movie series, but they're working on it as a TV series, and I'm excited to see this because I've read all of them, and the world building is truly impressive. This is an introduction into world building, and while it was brief, I promise I will go into a lot of detail about things in the upcoming episodes. I do want to thank you for joining me again on That Writer Guy podcast, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode, which is going to be part 2 of world building, which is all about the geography of a world and why this is important. I thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Until then, keep the words flowing, the ideas going, and happy writing.